Whatever you're thinking of doing, you just have to get started at it. You can't think it to overthink it. You can't be stuck in the motion of starting the project forever. You just have to do it. Welcome back to my channel here. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll get 1% better at something. And my name is Steve, and I have a YouTube channel where I have amassed 26 million views over several years, and I have 120,000 subscribers. I'm very blessed over there. It took me a very long time, but the one thing I almost didn't do on that YouTube channel was get started. I made every single excuse in the world. So if this is anything like you, you're going to appreciate this video, because you really have to get started. And the seeds of this video started earlier on this week. Now, in my last video, I talked about how social media networks are consistently trying to pull you back into the fray, sending you little notifications and what have you. And like most people who don't want to just go read AI-generated trash in 2025, 2026, whenever you find this video, I have to go to Reddit. So I install the Reddit app on my phone, and I somehow start getting notifications for a subreddit called NewTubers. Now, I'm not a new tuber. I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. I've been doing my current consistent project that I just talked about for 7 years nearly. But I go in there and I start reading things. And one trend I see over and over again is that people are stuck in the phase of ready, aim, and they no longer have the wherewithal or the ability or the confidence to just fire off with an idea. So why is it that some of the most successful people you'll ever know don't go ready, aim, fire? They go ready, fire, aim. Why is it that they have to change things around for themselves? And it's because they know that it's better to shoot off an idea, so long as it's not costing you capital that you can never get back. That wouldn't be life-changing. I wouldn't recommend that you take your last $1,000 and pump it into an idea. But they know that as long as there's a relatively low risk of commitment to failure, as long as it's not going to wipe them out, that it's better off to start with an idea, shoot it off, and then refine it and keep going in the future. So if you're stuck and you feel like you're not able to actually get your ideas out there, it's because you're afraid for something. There's something in your head that's telling you that for whatever reason you may not succeed. And it could be that fear of failure that you're too far up against that is keeping you from actually going ready, fire, aim. You're thinking, what if the idea doesn't work? But that's the beauty of ready, fire, aim. If you ready, fire, aim, then you will know if an idea doesn't work, and you can always go back and you can refine what didn't work and accentuate what did work. Now, a little bit about me, and I can tell you that this is exactly what I was in many, many years ago. My wife came up to me and said, you should make a video channel about blank. I'm not mixing my channels. If you know me from my other channel, say it in the comments below. And I said, I don't think anybody else needs a video channel about blank. Nobody wants to see videos of the blank because it's all been played out. It's all been done. I was like the bare naked ladies. It's all been done. And eventually she kept nagging me, as a good wife does, nagging me in a nice way to do it. Now, I was so afraid of failure because in my life, in the past, I've been taught that big, huge successes, big home run hits are not for people like us. Now, people like us are going to get through life. We're going to be lucky enough to be able to get through life. And if we get through life with enough food in our bellies and a warm house in the winter and a cool house in the summer, then we're good. So don't worry about aiming too high. And I had to completely change all of my paradigms around to realize that that's not necessarily true. Good things happen to people who are unexpected, and bad things happen to good people, and the world isn't exactly uniform. But at the end of the day, if you're like me and you're Christian, you believe in God or whatever you believe in, you have to have faith in something other than yourself. So ready, fire, aim became a thing that I started doing. I would just make videos off the cuff. And those videos off the cuff, pardon my voice, it's very humid where I live today in Las Vegas. Those videos off the cuff in my car started to resonate with people. And I never thought in a million years that there would be people that cared about anything I had to say. Granted, we were just talking about the city I live in, Vegas. Of course, the city I live in, Vegas, is always a popular hot topic. And then one day I made a video that happened to be about Allegiant Stadium here in Vegas. That's where the Las Vegas Raiders of the National Football League, American style football, play. It was under construction. I went out with the most nicest camera I could afford, which was a GoPro at the time. It seemed like all the money in the world to spend $500 on that GoPro camera then. And I went out and I made a video kind of just documenting its construction. Little did I know that the Las Vegas Raiders, the official account of the Las Vegas Raiders, the one with all of the billions of dollars of marketing behind it, was doing a similar series. And before I knew it, my video was suggested to watch after their video. And I remember exactly where I was sitting at that exact time, where I was when I was looking at the YouTube Studio app, which is what they give us to track our metrics. And I realized that I had gained 300 subscribers in a single day. But this didn't come all at once. This came from when I first started posting up videos in January of 2019, all the way through to June of 2019, which is still a relatively quick start for a YouTube channel. But I was in the right place at the right time. However, if I had gone ready, aim, fire, I never would have gotten to that point, because I may not have ever fired on the topics. I might have overthought the topics. I might have thought to myself, what am I going to talk about in this video? Does anybody even care? Why would anybody listen to me? I would have given myself all of the wrong questions that I should not have asked myself in order to prevent myself from doing the thing that would eventually get me to where I am on that channel today, which is basically a full-time, well-paying channel with an audience and people reaching out to me from the media, various places, for my opinions and takes. It's really been a strange journey. So I'm not flexing, but what I'm explaining is, if you get stuck in the weeds and the details when you start a project, you'll never get to the promised land. It'll just never happen. Think about it this way. If you lived in Los Angeles, California, and you decided that you want to take your kids to Disney World because Disneyland is all played out to you, and you want to go see this place in Orlando, you could sit there for as long as you wanted to sit there. In the olden days, you would sit there on old-fashioned maps and you would map out a million courses. Nowadays, you can sit there on Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever you use. Does anybody use MapQuest? You could sit there and you could find 1,000 ways to get there. You could ask questions like, should we go through Arizona? Do we want to take a detour through Mexico just to see the place? Or do I want to go on the straightest route possible? Where's our stopovers going to be? What are we going to eat? What hotels are we going to stay in? Where are we going to... But the reality is, if you sit there doing that, you're just wasting valuable time. Over-analysis, analysis paralysis kicks in, and then you lose the opportunity to even get there. Maybe a life circumstance changes in the weeks that you're taking to plan out the perfect trip. You never get on your perfect trip, and then at the end of the day, what was it all about anyways? You just wasted time. So I guess the steps are simple, right? If you have an idea that's brewing in your head, if you have something that's going on in your brain and you really want to get it accomplished, you just have to pull the trigger and start. You have to press record on the video. You have to press record in the recording studio. You have to pick up the guitar and learn how to play 3 chords. You have to learn how to sit down at your Google Docs or whatever you use for writing and just write one paragraph and write until you say, I can't write anymore. And also understand this, your productivity level will burn out. 9 to 5 jobs, 8 hours a day. It's been shown in studies it's not optimal for anybody. You really only have 3 or 4 productive hours in a day, according to studies, where your brain is firing on all capacities. So get those 3 to 4 hours in, do it, and you will look at your work and you will say, this sucks. That's true. It does suck at first. Nothing is perfect at first. You're not an expert in your field yet. But if you want to get out of that zone where you're not knowing anything to where you have mastery, you have to start somewhere. And I'll make a video on the levels of mastery and stuff. I'm sure many of you have heard it, but I'll give you my take. So if you're just browsing through, subscribe to the channel. If you guys find this even remotely interesting or I made you 1% better, maybe throw me a subscription and I'll do more talks every few days. All right, thanks for watching, and go take on your day and just get started with whatever you're doing. What's the worst that happens? You spend 20 minutes to find out it wasn't for you, or you spend 20 minutes to find out this could be your new path in life, right?